We're here to talk about National Player of the Year because I think it is the most fascinating National Player of the Year race that we have seen probably since I've been covering it. Yeah, probably since I've been covering this sport. There's never been a point where we've had like 5 guys, 6 guys, 7 guys that could legitimately be considered National Player of the Year. You have National Player of the Year contenders right now, and you're going to see the graphic that producer Dagan put together. There's 5 guys on that list. It doesn't include Johnny Davis because Johnny Davis did not play today. I want to make that very clear. We did not forget about him. He just did not play today. But those 5 guys on the list could all win National Player of the Year. You're not going to be able to get all of them on First Team All-America if Johnny Davis is there as well. So, Jeff, I'm going to you first. If you had to pick today, who would your National Player of the Year be and why?
And the list also does not include Drew Timme, who's playing, I think, now, right? They're playing tonight.
Yep.
So I don't think it'll include him as well. And Sean Miller picked him the other night, just so we know. I would go Johnny Davis. I just feel like if you took Johnny Davis off Wisconsin, I've said this several times, and I'm not kidding. I'm not over exaggerating this at all. I'm honestly not sure if they're an NIT team. I really believe they might not be an NIT team. He is that valuable to them, and he has stepped up in the toughest environments, the biggest games, Purdue, Indiana specifically, and absolutely willed them to 2 huge road wins.
Well, I got the stats for you, Jeff, real quick. They've never won at Mackey, at Assembly Hall, and at the Breslin Center in the same season. And in those 3 games, Johnny Davis is averaging 30 points and 12 boards while shooting 62% from the floor. He also had 29 in the win over a full strength Houston. He went nuts in the win over St. Mary's. There is no like Heisman moment or whatever in college basketball, right, but Johnny Davis has had like 6 of them.
At least season. Two big ones, which are the Purdue one I thought was the biggest one of the year because winning at Mackey against a top 5-ish Purdue team was insane. Like that to me might have been the best. And he had 14 rebounds. Look at Johnny Davis. And you're like, how does he constantly get 12, 14 rebounds? How tall is Johnny Davis, you think?
6'5".
Yeah, 6'4", 6'5".
He's not built. He's not like overly. He just, he does everything for that team. Everything.
Mm-hmm. Prom, who are you taking for National Player of the Year right now?
I think the whole, when you add the 2 guys, we said Timme wasn't on the list and Johnny, obviously, for the reasons you touched on. Everybody but EJ Liddell is a top 4 seed in its top 16. And everybody is either first or right there, second place. And even EJ Liddell, Ohio State, they lost today, or they would have been with 4 losses right there. If you took any of these guys off, it's a major, major blow. Yep. I said Ochai in the beginning of the year. The way Oscar's been and the impact he's had on Kentucky this year, right now, I would say Oscar Tshiebwe right now.
So why? Talk me through why, because I get a little bit. I have a little trouble putting a guy that is not like the go-to offensive force offensively as the National Player of the Year. Like, he's not the guy that you're going to take to give the ball to in the final seconds of a possession for Kentucky. So why are you taking him National Player of the Year?
Just because I think he's totally changed the landscape to where you watch him when he catches in the post, you're sending a double because of his size and his ability, just his sheer strength. And then to be elite, you got to have guys do special things and do tough things. And he's at the premier program in college basketball. Blue blood, you can argue Kansas, Kentucky, UCLA, Indiana, all that. And he is sold out to being the elite rebounder, the best rebounder in college basketball. And it's not like getting 10 rebounds, 11 rebounds. He's almost getting 18, 19, 20 every single night in the SEC. And, he's almost, you look at his numbers from his first year at West Virginia, first year and a half to now, it's phenomenal. The progression he's made, and he's okay with that. And I think you take him off that team with his ability to protect the basket and the way he rebounds on both ends of the floor, I think it's a major loss. And so you could evaluate all these guys, Kofi, he's a monster.
That's what I was going to ask you guys about. So if I would probably pick Johnny Davis at this point, right? Goodman picked Johnny Davis. I think that Oscar Tshiebwe and Johnny Davis, depending on where you look, are probably the consensus favorites. But if you ask the people that watch the Big Ten every single night who the two best players in that conference are and who should be winning Big Ten Player of the Year, they will tell you it's probably Kofi Cockburn and then EJ Liddell. Kofi Cockburn tonight had 27-9 against Michigan State. On the season, he is averaging 21 points and 11 boards. Shooting 61% from the floor.
I think Oscar's been better to me. If you're going to go with a big, I would go with Oscar over Kofi.
See, when you look at EJ Liddell, and this is just me, you look at him and you say, man, in 4 or 5 years, he's going to be an NBA All-Star. Just because of the things he can do with the basketball.
And he'll be drafted 10 spots lower than Johnny Davis, which will be the crazy part. He will. I think he'll go in the 20s. And to be honest, last year, I don't even know if anybody would have drafted him. I think he would have went in the 50s last year, but he slimmed down.
You know what? He got better defensively too.
Much better.
Yeah, he's much better defensively. And honestly, I would probably take Johnny Davis 10 spots over EJ Liddell simply because I see EJ as a guy that's going to be like an elite complementary piece in the NBA. I think you get him in the second round or at the end of the first round, and you're getting your team's getting better because he just fits what you want out of the NBA. Whereas Johnny Davis could be a star. Johnny Davis could be a superstar in the NBA. A guy with his size, his athleticism, his shot making ability, his ability to play off the bounce. I think in the draft, the way I just kind of look at it is you got to shoot for the home run there, right? You can't try to hit a single if you're picking in the first round. You want to go out there and try to land Giannis, even if you end up with the Alex Pokashevsky or whatever his name is, right? You got to try to land Giannis.
You've given up on Pokashevsky?
No, I'm just saying.
All right.
I think you
haven't given up on him.
I would never give up on Pokashevsky.
But you look at Ochai. Every one of these guys, these top 7, Drew Timme. You could make an unbelievable argument for any of these guys. Ochai Agbaji, number 1 seed, came back to school his senior year. He's done everything for this team. Everything. He's made big plays for him late. Coach Self runs stuff for him out of timeouts. They execute. He's still burning people on the back cut lob. You hear Fran Fraschilla yelling, hey, they're about the back cut, burn from the corner, lob Agbaji. He makes big plays for them. Drew Timme, they're the number 1 team in the country, and he's the best player on the team.
Well, the reason I don't think Drew Timme is going to get it is because there's going to be enough people out there that are super into the stats and the numbers and the efficiencies and the Evan Mayakawas of the world that are going to tell you that Chet Holmgren is the most valuable player on that team. So the vote's going to end up getting split. I don't see any way Drew Timme can get it because enough people are going to say Chet Holmgren is the best player on that team. How can you give National Player of the Year?
Well, it's the same thing
to Timme.
Rob, it's the same thing at Auburn with Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler. Mm-hmm. You're trying to tell me Walker Kessler is more important than Oscar Tshiebwe.
He is averaging over 6 blocks a game in SEC play.
I'm just saying. So you're taking votes away. Tonight, you're taking votes away from Jabari Smith. Right now.
Honestly, I don't think either of them should be National Player of the Year just because I don't think either of them has been as impactful as to me.
What about Keegan Murray? Would you put Keegan Murray in that equation now in that top tier? It's hard not to. I know his team hasn't been as good over the course of the season.
That's what it is. He's not putting up good enough numbers. I'm not going to roll through the stats again, but there's never been a player that's not been a top 4 seed that has been National Player of the Year since I think Andrew Bogut in 2005.